He was the man who changed quantum mechanics. His thought experiments founded the basis of what we know now as wave mechanics. Most importantly, he is the first creator of the zombie cat. Please welcome Erwin Schrodinger.
Unless you have been living under a rock for the past 6 months, you probably heard of the expression Schrodinger's cat.
What's that?
It's a zombie cat you watched a few hours ago.
Many people don't know that the expression actually comes from a thought experiment conducted by the physicist Schrodinger. This expression is often seen around our busy lives.
Among nerds?
Recently, it's even been seen on The Big Bang Theory.
Well, let's see. We might consider Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger. Is that the woman in 2A?
No, that's Mrs. Grossinger. And she doesn't have a cat. She has a Mexican hairless, annoying little animal. Yip, yip,
Sheldon!
Sorry, you diverted me. Anyway, in 1935, Erwin Schrodinger, in an attempt to explain the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics, he proposed an experiment where a cat is placed in a box with a sealed vial of poison that will break open at a random time. Now, since no one knows when or if the poison has been released, until the box is opened, the cat can be thought of as both alive and dead.
I'm sorry, I don't get the point.
Well, of course you don't get it. I haven't made it yet. You have to be psychic to get it, and there's no such thing as psychic.
Sheldon, what's the point?
Just like Schrodinger's cat, your potential relationship with Leonard right now can be thought of as both good and bad. It is only by opening the box that you'll find out which it is.
Which is for nerds.
Even after over 100 years, the legend of Schrodinger remains. Not only was he a key component to quantum mechanics, but he is also a significant part of our culture. Doesn't that make him seem interesting to learn about? Let's welcome our other host, Mr. Cash Money, who will give you a brief history on the life of our famous scientist.
On August 12, 1887, a genius was born in Vienna, Austria-Hungary. The name of this mastermind was Erwin Schrodinger. Living in Austria at the time, Schrodinger had to learn English outside of school. Growing up, he was constantly very interested in physics. He was strongly influenced by a man named Arthur Schopenhauer, who got him into color theory and philosophy. Schrodinger was also a gifted lad and became an assistant to Exner at only the tender age of 14.
Sounds like a Max kid to me.
Soon, however, war broke out. Schrodinger had become a commissioned officer in the Austrian Forces Artillery. There, he became a talented gunner, maybe even better than Sir Benson Guo.
Yeah, right.
As a young man, Schrodinger worked in the University of Zurich in 1921. He later moved to Friedrich Wilhelm University, where he succeeded Max Planck in 1927. However, when the Nazis rose to power in 1933, Schrodinger decided he didn't like them much, so he moved to England, where he tried to take a position at Oxford. Over the years, Schrodinger had to move from university to university. He eventually took position in Graz University, but had to leave in 1939 following the Anschluss. He didn't seem to like the Nazis very much. After leaving to Italy, he decided to take up a position in Dublin, Ireland, for the Institute of Advanced Studies. There, he made many significant scientific contributions. He later returned to Vienna in 1956, where he died in 1961 of tuberculosis.
let's take a break from this overload of information. You probably are familiar with my world-famous jokes. So, welcome my friends to Puns. Puns with Pete. So, Schrodinger takes his cat to the vet. The doctor says they have to operate. After some time passes, the surgeon comes out and he asks the surgeon, "How was the operation?" The surgeon says, "I'm not sure how to tell you this. I mean, I've got good news and bad news, but let's just say your cat is going home in a box." Well, that was actually a joke, because I ran out of puns today and all the other puns I could think of, they were sort of lame. So, I would like to turn it over to our other host, and please welcome Dr. Mr. Evil Mad Scientist.
Well, you can call me Dr. Evil if you have trouble spitting that out. Meh, I'm too tired. Why don't you do this part, Sir BG, if you're so intelligent?
Your incompetence is annoying.
Get on with it, or I'll put you in a steel box with radioactive material to set off a hammer that will subsequently release cyanide, which would subsequently kill you.
Okay, chill. Well, Schrodinger was a very gifted man. He made many contributions during his long and eventful career. His first great work came when he was working with Exner. There, he came up with the lecture, Mind or Matter, in which he explained that both space and time is a human representation. In his early years, Schrodinger did many physical experiments with his former teacher Exner relating to atmospheric radioactivity, atmospheric electricity, and electrical engineering. Schrodinger did experiments to estimate the height distribution of radioactive substances in the atmosphere. In 1914, he also did experiments to discover the capillary pressure of air bubbles and to find the properties of the soft beta radiation that appears when gamma rays bounce off a metal. For his efforts, Schrodinger was awarded the Heydrich Prize for the Austrian Academy of Science. And in his later years, Schrodinger worked on the theories of quantum mechanics as well as atomic theory and the spectra theory. But perhaps his strongest contribution to science was the Schrodinger equation. It was a wave equation for calculating the correct energy eigenvalues for a hydrogen atom. It was said to be one of the most significant contributions to science in the 20th century.
And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. Here's the legacy of Schrodinger, the Schrodinger cat.
The zombie.
No, Sir BG. Schrodinger's cat was actually one of the most famous thought experiments conducted in modern science. It was done in 1935.
Thought experiments?
Experiments conducted on the brain, stupid. And the experiment was not to prove that zombie cats exist. So you can rule that option out, Sir BG. Instead, it was to demonstrate the principle of superposition and the state of objects in quantum mechanics. Essentially, Schrodinger asked himself what would happen if he put his pet cat into a metal box. He didn't really like cats very much. He would also put a bit of radioactive material inside. If this material were to decompose, it would set off a hammer mechanism. This would then smash a glass case containing cyanide, which would then immediately kill the cat. But there is only a 50% chance of the radioactive material actually decomposing. Until you actually open the box, the state of the cat is unknown. Therefore, the cat can be considered both dead and alive. The thought experiment was used to illustrate the principle of superposition, which means having two states at the same time.
That didn't make any sense.
The principle of superposition applies to many things in quantum mechanics. For example, electrons can rotate clockwise and counterclockwise. However, some electrons are not decided yet about which directions they are rotating. They are therefore in a state of superposition because they can be considered rotating clockwise and counterclockwise at the same time.
Wow.
That was the legacy of Schrodinger, the genius to make such a principle as superposition be understandable to everyone, including all of those misinformed teenagers who are listening to this right now.
I think the zombie cat version was better.
This concludes our coverage on the great scientist, Erwin Schrodinger, great quantum scientist, womanizer, turret gunner, and founder of zombie cats. So what are you waiting for? Please check out our documentary on Schrodinger that's coming out on February 29th, 2014. See you soon!